Good evening, Dolphin fans. Welcome to another episode of the Fins Bandwagon. I'm your host, Evan Posner, and with me as always is my dad, Finch Tank Hank. How you doing, Hank?
I'm doing great, son. It's been a while. I've had time to soak a few things in, and I got a few things on my mind. But other than that, I'm doing fabtabulous, as they say,
I'm going to set the record. I'm going to give you a huge platform to get everything off your chest because, boy, do I have plenty to say also. So thank you, everyone, already for joining us. Welcome to another great episode. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. Don't forget to smash and like and subscribe. We really appreciate all your support on the Fins Talk Sports Network. So, Hank, the title of today's show is talking about McDaniel, guilty until proven innocent. And the reason why I came up with that title, and I thank our wonderful producer and founder of the network for that wonderful banner that was on Twitter and everywhere today, is the fact that over the last few days, it's all been about everything the Dolphins have done wrong. And it's always about the Dolphins. It's always what they did wrong. And they should never have let Tua play. And it seems that right now, the media, whether has changed their tune lately to Mike McDaniel. And it seems that they're saying, well, he's doubling down on what's going on with Tua and how everything was handled. And I have my opinion, but overall, since we last spoke on Fins Talk today, where we focused more just on the initial reaction, but there's been more talk through the last 2 days of all those clickbait artists. What are your thoughts so far on the latest attacks on the Miami Dolphins, specifically Mike McDaniel?
I think it's all hogwash. It's all hogwash. It's overrated. Look, whoever that independent person was got fired. Okay, so there's a reason. See, independent neurologist, right? That right there tells you that they did what they were supposed to do. That person might have messed up, but that's not on the Dolphins, They went through whatever protocol they're supposed to, obviously, and didn't know he was concussed because he was telling them it was his back. So they went through the protocols, didn't see anything wrong, and put him back in the field again. Then you have a few days later, and he gets slammed, body slammed. I thought they weren't supposed to do that once they have him in the grasp anymore, but body slammed him, basically knocked him loopy. Everybody saw the results of that. So to me, it's a football injury. Okay. That's what it is. It's a football injury. And I don't think there was any malice prior to, you know what I mean? I don't think there was any wrongdoing where they forced Tua out onto the field and all that. I don't buy that theory at all.
Okay. I personally, maybe you did tell me if you agree or not. I think that both what happened on Sunday, you were there, and what happened on Thursday are mutually exclusive. Because you want to know what? If he had a concussion where it was so bad that he couldn't get back into the game, and there's an independent neurologist who basically follows the NFL protocols. If the NFL protocols, they want to change them now as a result of what happened, good for them. I'm okay with that. The guy came back into the game. You were there, and he threw a 45-yard bomb, okay, to Waddle. A guy who's concussed, who is not out of sorts, is able to step in the pocket and continue to to play a wonderful second half of a game, and then he gets tested every single night. What's McDaniel supposed to do? If everyone talks about the greatest coach in the world, when Mac Jones hurt his ankle, the guy asked the question to Belichick straight up. What are your thoughts? I'm not a doctor. Talk to the doctor. McDaniel is the coach. He's going to rely on what people says. Well, he has eyes. I go, yes, but these are professional athletes. If they're ready to go and the doctors say they're ready to go, coaches are not supposed to say, sorry, we're not going to play. Their job is to win football games. That's just the human element. But for me, I think they're mutually exclusive. And I think that whatever happened on Sunday has nothing to do with what happened on Thursday. That's my opinion. What are your thoughts about the two?
Well, first, let me give a shout out to Hammer Time, Dolphins Thirsty, and California. Thanks, what's guys. Up tonight, folks. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, all.
And my whole thought process is simple. It was a football game. He got hurt in a football game, and you move on.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where I'm at with the whole thing.
Okay.
It's
No, I
done.
appreciate
It's
it.
over.
Yeah.
They
But
might change, like you said, after the fact, they might change something. But Miami and the coach did what they were supposed to do. They followed the protocols that were in place. So nobody can rag on them and bag on them or whatever you want to say. They're good to go.
Okay. Before I interrupt, breaking news for everyone on who's watching this instead of watching the other thing. But now Aaron Judge is now the league leader in history of the American League. He just finally, it took him 16 games to do it, but he finally hit his 62nd home run. So now Aaron Judge is solely the American League leader in history of 62 home runs. Congratulations, Aaron Judge. So I just thought I would mention that. Congratulations to him. It was interesting because one thought I wanted to talk about with McDaniel, just one more point, is he's been in the firing line the whole week and being destroyed by the media. And I believe he's a pawn, and I think the Dolphins are a pawn because of our history with Ross this season. But one thing that not bothered me, but one thing I want to get your opinion on, do you feel at this point that McDaniel should be the only one being targeted with these questions? Or do you feel there should be a point where a statement should be issued by the Dolphins brass, by Chris Greer, and to say, this is where we're doing, we're cooperating with the NFLPA, just to put something in writing that stands within the Dolphins? Because everything that's happened right now since their initial statement is coming from McDaniel, and he's being bombarded with questions, ripped in the media, and he's the one who's being made to look guilty, and he keeps on doubling down. Do you think Chris Greer should play a role, or is he, because he's hiding in the background?
No, I don't think that anybody needs to play a role except whoever's in front of the media. Okay, if Chris Greer decides not to be in front of the media, so be it.
Okay.
I mean, Coach has big shoulders. I know he looks like he's a bony guy, but he's got some big shoulders, and they're pretty broad.
Yeah.
He carries a lot, and he does it well. Yeah. So with those two factors, I don't have a problem with Greer not being there at all, to be honest with you. Okay. Because all Greer does is mess up our draft picks and stuff like that.
Not undrafted free agent. He did pretty well in 2021, so give him some credit.
All right. Yeah. I'm not gonna I'm not slamming him to death.
Bandwagon.
Yeah, I'm still on the bandwagon.
I know. I'm kidding with you.
We have great players, but his history. We all know the history and how the players have turned out. We all know how it is. Okay. He hit recently, so we've been doing well.
Exactly. Jalen Phillips was interviewed, and he was asked a question by Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald yesterday about the situation. And he talks about the fact that he's had some concussions as well in his career. And he talked about, we're football players. We know the risks. We know what we're doing. We follow the rules. And no one was going to stop Tua from getting back into that game if the approval was there to do it. So let me ask you about Tua. Because one thing that we didn't have a chance to talk about on Saturday, and it's a term that's being used a lot, is hero ball. Tua is, in comparison to me, a Drew Brees. For me, he should not be doing quarterback sneaks. That's why he hurt his ankle and his back. McDaniel has to stop doing that because he's our quarterback. Because remember, you and I during the offseason were the bin bandwagoners about Tua. People were saying we're a quarterback away, start Teddy Bridgewater. People weren't sure about Tua. He needs to be consistent. We were always on that train. He hurt himself at Alabama. He hurt himself with the Dolphins. He almost hurt himself with the Patriots. He used to get the ball out in under 2.5 seconds. That's what we all talked about during the offseason, how he needed a stronger offensive line. He had 5 seconds to get rid of that ball. I personally believe, because we're big defenders of Tua, but I'm going to call him out, no matter what the offensive line was doing, he's partly responsible for what happened. And the reason why I say that is that he likes to refer to Dan Marino about the term that he always used is that let it fly. Get rid of the ball. Take an intentional grounding penalty, throw it into the end zone. What are your thoughts on Tua and his responsibility in all this? He's healthy. Right now, he's meeting with the NFLPA and the NFL. He seems to be in the facility, so he's able to function now. But what are your thoughts on how he's hurting his own career just by not adapting to the fact that he is not Josh Allen? He is not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's more of a Drew Brees type of style quarterback, and he can't handle that kind of pain. So, and that kind of attack. So what are your thoughts on the fact that Tua does play a role? It's a football injury, but part of his game is what's lacking and why he keeps on getting these injuries.
Well, what he's lacking is he holds on to the ball too long. Yeah. That's what he's lacking. He held on to the ball too long. Every injury he's ever gotten, he's held on to the ball too much or been put in the wrong play, like you said, that quarterback sneak. You have all these running backs. Why are you doing a quarterback sneak?
Ingold.
Just drive the ball in there, pull a tight end in. You had Ingold, right? Have him come
What
up
about Thompson?
there.
Like bring in Skylar Thompson. The guy's tall, big. Bring him in for the 1-yarders. I don't care.
Yeah, there could have been something different rather than, but that was the call. That's how it went, and he got hurt. So as far as the Drew Brees comparison, I think that Tua throws a great ball. You see him when he throws it to Hill. He's always seems like he's slightly underthrowing him. I don't know if that's the case or not.
Not Waddle, though. Not Waddle. I find he doesn't do that with Waddle.
No. Waddle, he's usually pretty crisp with.
Yeah.
And so I question those things and, stuff like that. I question a lot of things. Yeah. But if you ask me, if I was, doing things right now, I don't know. I don't know what direction Miami should go as far as all this hoopla that's going on right now.
Because I don't think it's going out of the way. Like being in Canada, being in Montreal, there was a 30-minute segment today about how they handled this, and they keep on blaming the Dolphins. And I feel like people just need to shut up because, like in any case, like in anything, you just need to let things play out, and people don't have the patience to let it play out. In the end, it was a football play. It was a workplace injury. You don't know for a fact what happened between the two games. You can say all you want that it was concussion. You want to know what? If this concussion that was so bad, he had an episode here. He seems to be a quick healer. He was able to fly home with the plane. So maybe, like I said on Saturday, they're all into a conspiracy, right? It's the University of Cincinnati Trauma Center. It's the doctors of the NFL. It's McDaniel. It's the Dolphins. Heck, it's probably Ross. Ross probably paid everybody off. Tua needs to play. Like, give me a break. Honestly, people just need to be quiet and focus on football. It's an injury. Because as you know, Hank, you know who was concussed? You know who was getting over a concussion during the game? T. Higgins. T. Higgins. Are anyone questioning T. Higgins playing in the football game? When Howard missed his tackle and he went for a touchdown? T. Higgins was concussed the previous game. No one's talking about that. It's the fact that the Dolphins are being targeted. And I'm not trying to be I'm a homer. I'll always admit that I'm a homer. But for some reason, people still don't want to believe in the Dolphins. Like today, I always laugh, and we're going to talk about the expectations now. But today, they look at the top teams in the NFL. Because of what's going on with the Dolphins, all of a sudden the Dolphins aren't a top team anymore because we lost in a game where people's heads weren't there. So you're telling me that the Cowboys and that the who else? What did they mention today? I know the Eagles are great. The Bills are great. But to mention the Cowboys and to mention the Packers, are you kidding me? Even with Teddy Bridgewater, with the skill set that we have, we could beat these teams without even getting over there. So it's crazy. And I agree with California. Doctors should come out here. NFL should be having something. So within the next few weeks, they better be coming out to talk about this because they should be setting the record straight. These these potential statements don't get anywhere. It just creates more fodder for everybody. So Hank, after the first 4 weeks, even after everything that's going on, who's number one in the NFL? The playoffs started today in the AFC. It's a quarter away into the season. You know who would have a bye and home field advantage? Our Miami Dolphins. So after everything that's gone on, what's your gut reaction? What is your initial reaction? How do you feel about where the team is after 4 weeks, heading into week 5?
Well, that's a good question because we got Teddy, and I just want to put this out there. I know this is Fins Bandwagon, but I'm not a huge Teddy fan. Mm-hmm. However, I root for whoever the quarterback is. I rather see the young kid get a few reps in there, see how he does. If he sucks, yank him at the half. That's what I would do just to test him out, see how his head is in a real game. And if he doesn't do good, pull him out. No big deal. No harm, no foul. But you don't take something that could be a diamond in the rough and you leave it sitting on the bench either. You have to find out whether this kid can play. And now is an opportune time. We already know what Teddy Bridgewater can and cannot do. And Teddy Bridgewater cannot take this team to a Super Bowl. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it, because if he could, he'd be a starting quarterback on another team. That's where I am with Teddy Bridgewater. However, I think he can win some games. I mean, there's no reason he can't, do well against the Jets. You got the Vikings. Hopefully, I'm hoping that Tua is back for the Sunday night Pittsburgh game personally. I think 3 weeks should be enough time for them to determine whether he needs to rest or not. So we'll have something definitive, obviously, by then.
We should know tomorrow if they're going to put him on the PUP list or by Thursday. And if he's not on the PUP list, which is 4 games, or injured reserve. I'm not going to say PUP list, but in the injured reserve, which is 4 games, which would take him, I think, to Chicago. I think. Then I think he'll be back by Pittsburgh. That's my
yeah. Why are you saying it's a negative show?
It's not a negative show. I just kept on saying it's a positive show. Everything gets flipped into a positive. But Hank says one thing, and then I bring the roses out.
Hey, I just have an opinion on Teddy Bridgewater, and we're
defending the team. We agree it's not the Dolphins' fault.
Yeah, but I agree that they should be starting him. They paid him a lot of money.
Yeah.
There's a reason they paid him a lot of money.
But he's 51 and he has a winning record as a starter. Every time he's come in, if you look at when he was a starter in Carolina, he was okay. In Denver, he was okay. He had a very high completion percentage. In terms of what he did when he didn't play so good, think about it. It sort of connects to how he did in Cincinnati. He came in when he was in New Orleans. He came into at the end of a game, sort of like the second half, and lost. The team didn't win the game. Then he rifled off 5 wins. He has a lot to play for this year, and I said that on Saturday. If he wants a job next year as a starter, or he wants to continue to grow in the league and get bonuses and this and that, he is going to perform. I would said a couple weeks ago, I'm not the biggest fan of Teddy Bridgewater in terms of how he's prepared himself. But now that he's had 10 days to get the reps, be behind McDaniel, and the way Tyreek was talking yesterday, he can throw the deep ball. He could, with the weapons he has. He's never had weapons like this anywhere, including New Orleans, including Minnesota. He hasn't had these weapons. Teddy Bridgewater has a lot to play for, and that's what I like about him now, is similar to Tua. They have a lot to prove this year, and with a young coach who wants to shut up all the critics, because that's what he's doing, he's going to tell them they're all going to be doing this. Trust me, they're going to be tops in the rankings after they play the stinking Jets.
If he can't come in and do it with the people and personnel,
he's going to do it. I'm telling you right here.
Him, that's what I'm saying. I think he can, and that's why I believe he can win us some games.
Yeah.
I totally believe he can.
And Mike McDaniel has gone against Robert. He went back, he talked yesterday, how long he knows Robert Saleh, going back to the Houston Texan days with Gary Kubiak. He knows how Robert Saleh thinks. He's matched up his offense against Robert Saleh's defense. He knows how to beat Robert Saleh, and it's the freaking Jets. If we're not motivated to play the Jets, trust me. And also, trust me, Tyreek Hill, the fact that he chose to come to Miami, he's going to show the Jets why he came to Miami and why Miami is a better team. They are going to crush it. Teddy Bridgewater is going to have a phenomenal game. It's not even going to be close. I even predict that we might see Skylar Thompson in garbage time. That's how well the Giants are going to do. Is that enough for you, Fins Talk Network producer? So for me, so let's talk about it. What are your expectations for the Jets game? What are your expectations with everything we've talked about, with everything that we've seen since the Bengals game? What do you see that wasn't as great? Because we're going to talk about the positive and how we know that they're going to improve. What do you see that McDaniel can adjust and what the coaching staff can adjust to make us an even better team and a rebound team to what happened on Thursday, this upcoming Sunday?
It's all about the running game on both sides.
Yeah.
Both offense and defense. Got to stop the running game on defense. Not let them dink and dunk to the running back out of the backfield, which we got tore up with that. Mm-hmm. The other thing is you got to get a running game going. Miami really hasn't, for somebody that's a running back coach and all that stuff, a running game coach, there isn't a lot of great running plays so far this year, I would have to say.
The Mostert's had some moments. They've had spurts, right? They've had different spurts, but I do believe that this next game, because it's Teddy Bridgewater, which is more of a game manager, and he's had decent running games, whether he was in Denver or he had McCaffrey in Carolina or he had Kamara in New Orleans, they're going to utilize the running game a little bit differently. I think they're just going to tweak it a little bit. They're going to be getting Hill out of the backfield, Waddle out of the backfield. Mostert's going to be there. They're really going to play around with it. I really think you're going to see a different type of running scheme coming in. And for me, the O-line just has to adjust a little bit. I wouldn't hurt. We've talked about it throughout the year. Bring in Dieter, try different people throughout the practice this year to see what's there. Because right now, this is your opportunity to tinker with the O-line a little bit. Because Little's not showed his warts on why he was a backup. We're sort of missing Austin Jackson. So Dieter should be getting a shot. Jones should be getting a shot. Like, try Larnell Coleman for all I care. Do something to get the O-line going a little bit. Like, play around. This is your chance to tinker, because with the weapons we have, like our wonderful producer has said, is we have diamonds around there. Just give Teddy enough time to get the ball out, give the running attack a chance to move, and we're going to be fine. And also, this is an opportunity, I think, finally, for our tight ends to wake up against this Jets defense. Like, finally, Gesicki, like, come out of the woodwork. I finally believe he will have a good game, because him and I bet you right now, I wouldn't be surprised if you took a 3.5 hour drive over to Baptist Health Training Facility. You might see Teddy Bridgewater out there throwing passes to Mike Gesicki, so that never happens again. So, honestly, I really do think that there's going to be a change there. But so overall, I don't want to do your prediction, but what are your expectations overall for the special teams? Go through the different positions. Who are you comfortable with what you've seen, and then which ones have you seen concerned, and what adjustments would you make so we're all smiling on Sunday?
Well, I love our punter. Our punter has been just like booting it.
But too far, right? But you even said on Saturday he's booting it too far.
Yeah, he's out. He was out kicking the protection, but that means they need to change the protection. Yeah. This guy's got a leg. Get ready to change the protection. Get down there together. Stop funneling all in one line so they run right by you. Yeah. Things like that. Common sense. But they'll figure it out. They'll get it turned around.
They need Ethan Carter and Clayton Fedgelin back. Like, those were two key special teamers that they're missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been important.
And Ingold, like they're talking about blocking, that would be nice too. That would be nice to see him.
Yeah, Bobby. I think Bobby Melendez. I think jinx that poor guy. He's the sleeper. Yeah, he's been asleep all season, but he's going to wake up on Sunday.
Damn right he will.
and then you have the kicking. The kicking, obviously, you've missed some easy kicks.
Yeah,
that was a problem. So. You got that side of the kicking. I think that'll definitely improve. I'm not concerned with Sanders. He'll come back. I'm not concerned at all. And then you have defense. You got the cornerbacks. I don't know how healthy they are or will be for this game.
I think we might know tomorrow about Jones.
Yeah. So without knowing that, I can't really say. But you know,
because they have a rough
doing. Is X going to be participating,
Tough.
I don't know. And the other part that I'm concerned about is how good is this Jets defense? That's the question. How good is this Jets defense? I know everybody just brushes over the Jets, but they've been putting a lot into their defense, including Sauce Gardner, who they say was fabulous. I don't know how he's done this year. I have no idea.
Yeah, but the Jets have played games where I feel like the Jets haven't won a lot of games. I'm not being a homer here, I promise. But the Steelers gave away the game because they left Mitch Trubisky. And how quickly you said how quickly were they going to get Kenny Pickett in there? Or they got him in there a bit earlier. Three interceptions. But honestly, the Steelers are a team right now that are relying on a rookie quarterback now. Trubisky is never going to get another shot. They beat Jacoby Brissett. Okay, Jacoby Brissett. We know who Jacoby Brissett is. So those are their 2 wins. Their 2 wins are tight wins against teams that do not have the likes of our offense, even with Teddy Bridgewater in there. Because if someone told me tomorrow would you rather win on Sunday? If you had to put the ball in somebody's hand, would you put the ball in Teddy Bridgewater's hands or Zach Wilson's hand? I would put it in Teddy's hand. I do not trust Zach Wilson to carry my groceries. The guy is an interception machine. He is not where people talk about where Tua was drafted. Oh my God, Zach Wilson, Ryan Leaf category at this point. He might be another Sam Darnold. I'm not sure. But all to say is that for me, they're going to get to continue. But for me, I'm not worried about their defense because I think now it's going to be quick. Like you said, you even said it on Saturday, it's quick dink and dunk. That's how they're going to start the game. And this is the perfect game to go yak. This is the perfect game to go yak.
Well, those are my questions, though. I gotta dig deep.
Yeah.
And
I'm giving you till Saturday to dig deep. We're giving you. I'm always positive. We're giving you till Saturday to reflect on that.
I'm going to reflect a lot before Saturday. Trust me.
Yeah.
So what else we got on the docket?
What are your, as a funny little side note, and we'll continue. What are your thoughts on the signing of Reed Sinnett? He's back.
Exactly. He's back.
Depth.
Yeah, he's on the practice squad just in case. CYA, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I asked a question on Twitter, and I was like, so, do they not trust Teddy Bridgewater, or is it because they don't trust Skyler? Just asking around, saying, seeing what people think. And everybody said, yeah, he's just on the practice squad. He's just a back, just his insurance policy, of course. So, everybody's thinking on the same lines.
Well, at least but what's really interesting, though, is that they get two. What I always find funny is that they got a quarterback really quickly, but they're not getting O-linemen. They're not going after the trades. For me, do you expect, as things are right now going, I forget when the trade deadline will be, but as you see this team now, do you see that the Dolphins team is going to be, based on what you're seeing, do you want them to be active as it approaches the trade deadline? Do you want them to start making moves, or are you comfortable with the roster we have now?
Definitely make moves. Always make moves.
Is it time for Gesicki to go?
If they say it is, then it is. If you want to get some good picks out of it, if you want to get some kind of good trade and possibly trade somebody for a lineman, I don't know who's going to give you a lineman for a tight end that can't block, but, go for a draft pick or something. I really don't know what's going to happen with him, but there's a lot of people out there that, they want to see him succeed. I want to see him succeed. Definitely. And I think he can. He's got the opportunity, like you said, this game coming up. It's, you never know how much Teddy Bridgewater is going to utilize him.
Yeah.
So if they set up different schemes for Teddy, they might have a little more rolling out. They might have him running different plays because, remember, his left side's already, his blind side's protected. So, that's a huge plus as long as Armstead's not getting completely bowled over.
No, I think he needed to adjust, and I think that over this practice this week, I just hope he's adjusting to the fact that he's now covering the blind side, and that will be important.
Yeah.
We're hitting the almost 35th minute. Everyone, Dolphin Thirsty, Steve, as always, California, Hammer Time. We appreciate all the comments and all your support. We really do. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. So right now, I just want to think about a couple more things we can talk about for this evening, because honestly, there's so much that people talked about, because right now it's always been about sort of like the down in the dumps since last Thursday and all about the injuries and all that. So talk about to me a little bit about the fact that after 4 games, are there reasons for people right now at this moment? Give people 3 of the top reasons why people should be on this bandwagon, even with all the negative press that we are saying is ridiculous, stupid, and is just trying to get clicks. What are the 3 main reasons why people who watch this show, who are going to hear about this show, who should be listening to us, why should they be on the Dolphins bandwagon? Because you want to know what? When we're 6-1, when we're 7-1, when Tua comes back and we're balling and we're contenders, and why should people now? Because I sort of treat it like when the stock market, like right now, we know what the economy is doing right now, and all these CEOs, the recession is we're in a bit of a recession. Things are not going great in the economy and all that kind of stuff. So it's always better to buy low and sell high. So right now, The Dolphins, the people, are in the low point from a publicity standpoint, which affects the overall record, which I think is dumb because it's separate. So if we want to consider ourselves at a lower point now, give people top 3 reasons why people should be excited about the Dolphins.
Okay. Number one reason is we have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and we have Easy-E, who hasn't played, but I like him if he ever comes up. And
Cedric Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a lot of great fast running backs that also complement those wide receivers. So I like that fact. That's one great positive. The second great positive is the Miami Dolphins offensive line. Yes, you heard me say the Miami Dolphins offensive line.
I just saw a dolphin fly.
Yeah. They are doing better than they were last year. That's not saying a lot, but they're doing better than they were. And the other part of this is this team hasn't gelled yet. Like the offense hasn't gelled yet. So you need to be positive, but you also need to be patient, you know. And we're only going into the fifth week, so you know, give it a chance. It might work out. And putting Teddy in there, that's going to make these offensive linemen work a lot different than they've been working too. So then they're going to have that experience, and it might be easier to go back to what they've already learned with Tua. And my point is, they could actually get better by this switch around.
Yeah.
By having to play from a different angle, attack a different angle, etc. So those are two. The third reason is because Tua's going to be back. That's the third reason. Tua will be back. My prediction is Sunday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Tua will be back. That is my guess. That is my Miss Cleo, whatever you want to call it. I think he'll be back by Sunday night.
Yeah, Steve, don't you know that Mike McDaniel does have a crystal ball? He stole it for Hank sent him his by FedEx. It's okay. Okay. No, for me,
those are my three keys. Yeah. That's
my
why
keys,
you should be on this bandwagon.
I'm going to give you the number one key before I get to the players. And you know what it is? And I noticed it, and you've been to 2 games there. I don't know what it is, but the crowd at the games, this is your first time, but I'm watching it, and I've been to many games. This is the loudest crowd I've ever seen at Hard Rock. The way the stadium is built, the way the team is playing together as a family. I'm making a prediction here. We talked about how many wins they're going to have. They are not going to lose one game on their home turf. The stadium, the home field advantage that the Dolphins have playing in Miami behind the crowd, and with you there and all the Dolphin supporters there, we are not going to lose one game. And so I truly believe that the stadium, the home field advantage, the way that they're playing at home, the teamwork, the way they play to the crowd, the way the crowd is getting with the team is a huge effect on this team. The second reason why you should jump on this bandwagon is because of the fact that people are now believing in Tua. Because now, before it happened, people wanted Teddy. Tua is a secret ingredient, and even if he's not on the field, he is going to be there in spirit. He'll be up in the booth. He'll be up in the suite. Wherever he is, they're going to do this for Tua because they know what Tua has to show this year, and he was balling even before he got hurt. And I said this on Saturday, and I'll say this again. He may have not been having the best game. People throw interceptions. Tom Brady threw interception. Tua, even Aaron Rodgers, everyone throws interceptions. So he threw one bad pass. He did the same thing in the Baltimore game. In the second half, this team has been balling. So for me, Tua is a key ingredient. The other, as you always said, and I've said this all season, there's a leadership factor on this team. They believe in their coach, and they believe in the top wide receiver in the league. When's the last time the Miami Dolphins had the top receiver in the league in yards, and then 2 in the top 5? And they are balling, and they are playing well, and it's only going to continue to grow. So to have the leadership of a Tyreek Hill and to have the stadium and to know that there's a reason why to play, they're playing for Tua. There's no more motivating factor. You know this more than anybody. When you have a motivating factor to prove people wrong, because even if people shut their ears, people know what's going on and how the Dolphins are being portrayed. And and the Dolphin fans and the Dolphins family and the players are sick of it. They know they're the football players. They're the athletes. They know what's going on here, and they're going out there to win football games, and they're going to win football games. So for me, you better jump on this bandwagon now, because Hank and I don't forget.
That's all right, though. I still welcome anybody to be a Dolphins
We
fan.
will, but you have to smash the like and that subscribe button. If you don't, we might reconsider. Any final thoughts? Because I wanted to not make this such a detailed show today, because I want to leave some topics for you guys for Saturday, so I didn't want to make it too long. But do you have any final thoughts as we head to Saturday?
I just want to thank Steve and TR and California and Thirsty, everybody for coming out, man. We appreciate you folks.
You guys are truly on the bandwagon. I've already had to go extend the Dolphins bandwagon a little bit further. We had to add a couple more seats over the last few weeks. No, but for me, the fact that we're 3-1, honestly, is nothing to me. That one loss, I don't count that as a loss. They were in a different headspace. The way that they're playing, look at what happened. Like, everything's beatable. Like, we have beaten such key teams. Like, look what happened to Baltimore. Why do you think that Buffalo won? You don't think they stole a little bit of secret sauce from the Dolphins? You know what I mean? The way they beat the Ravens this week, people are also copycatting us a little bit. We are beating teams in a very, very smart way. And I just believe that you want to know what? We have the foundation of a team that could upset anybody at any given time. And I think that people should be afraid to play us, because at any given time we can break this game wide open.
Yeah, definitely.
So everyone, thank you again for joining us. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. You guys are great supporters of ours, and don't forget to watch all our shows coming up this week. You're going to see Hank again on Saturday, and I'll be in the comments having fun with him and Bobby. But once again, thank you guys so much for joining the show, and don't forget to always end the show with Fins Up.
Fins up.